All right. Welcome back. We are wrapping up the diatone. This little, or I should say the red R3D custom, whatever, 4K, Cinewhoop, whatever. Anyway, this little micro whoop. I got the wiring diagram pulled up for this guy. So we just need to make sure we have all of our kit ready to go. And so let's get our components just sort of wired up first, and then we'll add them to our flight controller. And this little guy, the sticker comes off, goes right there. No little wires. They really cheap out on these now. You know, they used to give you wires with them, I'm pretty sure. Now it's like, pff, wires? You don't need no stinking wires. So let's grab a couple from the bucket. We'll do a black and a red and a yellow. Okay. That looks tinned, that looks tinned, and surprisingly that looks tinned. So let's just go with it. Yeah, I gotta say, this little stick vise has been one of the best buys I've ever made. It just does the job very nicely. Holds a board, you know, nice and level. Alright, so on this guy, it is from the bind, orient yourself based on the bind pin as indicated there. And I got a little bit of plastic on the tip. So now it stinks like whatever kind of plastic that shit was in that frame. We'll just set that aside for a second. So we've got S-bus, 5 volt, and ground oriented from the bind pin. The bind pin is there, so we're going to do S-bus, 5 volt, and then ground. And we'll just put a little dab on there. 1, 2, and 3. S-bus. The tip now. Yep. 5 volt. And ground. There we go. Now, next, so our camera and our, this guy, the output of the camera, I'm going to run these two, the black and the red wire, to the battery, because I don't trust that this little board can handle this load, because I think this is like almost an amp. So I'm just not even going to try that. So we need to cut and tin our connectors. And we'll make sure that we do, yeah, you know what, let me start over. So I want this guy to be able to reach from, let's see, the cam is on the, this is the front, the cam is going to hang off the side for video, so the side for video is going to be here, and we want this to kind of reach, and we can kind of tuck that wire. So I think we're going to have enough with that. And then these two underneath, I'm going to go just a centimeter longer. And we're going to clip off or desolder this 5-volt and ground. And here's the wiring diagram. So it's ground out and 5-volt out that we're taking off here. So just heat it up. One, two. There we go. Alright, so we're going to need this cam input line. Make sure we're recording. Yep. Oh, man, tiny ass pads. No. There we go. Alright, we need from this end, we've got the S-bus line. Okay. Then PPM 3.3 volt, 5 volt, and ground. 5 volt we're going to need for our transmitter. Ground. Video out. TX2. 5 volt and ground. Okay. Five volt. Okay. TX2. And video. Okay. And then that is our VTX. Let's do our cam real quick. We're going to do okay. So this one is set up such that if you bridge, it's not necessarily fatal to your equipment. which I like. I like that kind of intelligent design. It's not going to save you. Most cases, anyway. God damn these little pads. And S-Bus. That's our flight controller wired up. Should be good. I'm going to double check our continuity, because you know that's what we do. We always check. Always. Believe me, it is going to save your life, or your pocketbook anyway, doing this. Alright, first thing we want to check is probably this one over here, the one that's easy to forget. We've got cam, and the one that I bridged initially. We've got this little 5-volt pad and cam, or ground pad and cam. We just want to make sure that we're not bridging that, and we aren't. So that looks pretty good. And then next to that is a ground pad and a 5-volt, and I'm going to make sure that the ground pad isn't actually, it's got some solder on it. It's not actually touching anything else. Alright, moving across the back here, we've got our 5-volt and our ground, and I can verify that they are not shorted. Yep. Ground and TX2 and video and ground and 5-volt. 5-volt and this blank pad next to it are not ground. That's 3.3 volt. And then down here at the end I've got a PPM and an S-Bus. PPM and S-Bus are not touching. And then if you look, this pad is really close to this ground. I'm pretty sure that's ground. I bet if I touch this and this. Anyway, this little ring is sometimes grounded. You just want to make sure that you're not touching it. And we're not. Alright. There's that. Now, let's make sure we're oriented correctly. We are putting this just like so. And I think if I can get away with it. No, I can't. It's going up and over. Oh well. That's life. Alright. Okay, so the hardest part about this is making sure you don't fuck up your pins, right? Or if you're, because the pins are what's most important about this setup here. And we're trying to make sure we don't go in too cockeyed and that we don't end up with a pin outside its hole. Alright, so I don't know if you can see down in there, the pins are lining up just perfect. So I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so I'm mounting up the camera at this point. And camera slash DVR 4K. And I do like this RunCam hybrid. The only downside to it, in my opinion, is that they bothered putting a camera on it. I know that sounds silly. If it had just been a 4K on a board with, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe a video out, but if you'd just done a 4K on a board, I mean, I think racers would be happy as a clam with that. They'd slap them in their rigs all day long. You don't need, you know, even if that was just a slim down little thing, you know, power it off your battery. Don't put a battery in the case. It's silly. Power it on, starts recording. Power it off, stops recording. And if you need a little bit of kit inside, a little big old capacitor or something to keep it from, shitting the bed, so you can finish off your file size or whatever, do that. Maybe a 75 milliamp hour micro battery or something like that, or a button cell to keep it from, so that you can detect when your voltage goes gone. The problem that I'm facing here, in case you can't tell, is that the this wire really wants to kind of go underneath this stack. Yeah, let me take a break and redo this, and then because we're at 40 minutes, so yeah, this will be a good end of part 2. We'll get the rest of it, we'll get it buttoned up when you come back.